As the Florida State League, that's Class A Advanced Minor League Baseball, gets ready to put the automated ball strike system to use in their league, Baseball America came out with an article saying we could have a problem with the umpires not knowing how to call balls and strikes anymore after using the electronic technology. I mean, the computer could be so good that the umpires forget how to call balls and strikes like human beings. The atrophy theory. And I'm here to say, not so fast, that's not going to happen, and here's why. I don't care about the ABS, and we have so many articles on the website, please check them out, about how ABS fails to do its job. And I don't really care about the pitch in the dirt called a strike that Navas had to eject that batter in the Arizona Fall League because he argued that, and it was the computer. I don't care about Frank Viola in the Atlantic League getting tossed multiple times for arguing pitch location issues, nor do I care about how the computer draws the strike zone up to the belt height of a batter in the ALCS and then actually has to get shut off because it was so bad they had to shut it off because people were like, hey, this doesn't make any sense. I'm not talking about how Aaron Judge and Jose Altuve, who are two different heights, like a foot apart, have the exact same strike zone per the computer because it doesn't know how to do verticality. Don't care about any of that. What I'm talking about is two specific things. Number one, ABS failing to capture pitches entirely. Number two, delayed calls. What do I mean by that? Number one, Joe West had a great quote. It missed 500 pitches in April, and when I say it missed 500 pitches, that didn't mean they called them wrong. They didn't call them at all. The video is called Truth About Baseball's Electronic Strike Zone. It's from May of 2019. Check it out. So that's number one. The system doesn't call pitches entirely because it can't see them. Think about it this way. Whether it's TrackMan's Doppler radar system or HawkEye's optical system, triangulate system going back to pitch FX, think about it this way. We have a box behind home plate above, let's say it's press box height, and it's trying to look down and see things. It has to look through an umpire. It has to look through a catcher. Or if you put a triangulate system out in center field, it has to look through a pitcher. If you put the triangulate system above third base dugout, first base dugout on the screen, etc., it has to look through a left-handed batter, right-handed batter. Here's another example. PFX is the spin rate variable that PitchFX would measure. And as you know, home plate to the pitcher's mound, 60 feet, 6 inches. They couldn't measure it at the front of home plate like they wanted to because the batter's movement, the catcher's movement, the bat's movement, it got confusing for the computer. So they made this decision to measure it 40 feet out, not 60 feet, 6 inches, 40 feet, and calculate via algorithm, computer learning, whatever, the last 20 feet, what it might be, not what it is, because it gets too confused at 60 feet. Manfred actually explained this at the Palais Media a few years ago. He explained this, and he said, you know what, HawkEye is a simulation. It's not the real thing. It says what it thinks. And that's why, for this and for many other reasons, humans have a slimmer margin of error than the computers. Humans are better at doing this job. And then he did an about-face this year at Davos, Switzerland, at the World Economic Forum, a lot of money there, because MLB's now getting a HawkEye. So now that MLB's getting a HawkEye, you can't badmouth HawkEye anymore. And he said, you know what, the tech works. It's better than humans. So we have an issue of not seeing the pitches. Second is delayed calls. We have a great compilation of Atlantic League pitches where 1, 2, 3, strike. And that just doesn't cut it. 3.129 seconds, for instance, that's just one example, and there are many others, is too long. 3-2 count, runner at first, taking off on the pitch. Catcher catches the ball. 1, 2, 3, strike. The catcher needs to make a decision whether to throw to second or not way before that. And if he's waiting for the umpire to call a strike or a ball and he's not getting it because the ABS is way too slow, that's a problem. He throws the ball in the center field. Oh, sorry, it was ball 4. You didn't need to do that. Meanwhile, the runners are running the carousel, and we have a game-winning run coming around to score, all thanks to the computer. Post-game processing we talked about. Well, what if the computer has a post-game processing issue? 3-2 pitch, bottom of the 9th inning. Strike 3. Next morning. Oh, it should have been ball 4. Okay, let's continue the game from that point, which could work. But let's say that the thing happened an inning earlier. Now you can't do that. Can't continue from that time. It's not protestable. And if it is, now we're in butterfly theory, and that is not good. Read about that as well. So we have those issues. And as a human umpire in the Florida State League, you know that sometimes the system doesn't call pitches, and sometimes it has delays. So you're waiting for TrackMan, catcher catches the ball. You're waiting for, it's HawkEye. You're waiting for ABS to give you that call in your earpiece. And you're waiting 1, 2, and silence. 3, strike. Okay, strike. But it's stressful because it feels like an eternity. Any umpire will tell you, you're back there and you're not able to call strikes in your own timing. It messes with your timing, messes with your umpiring. That's bad. And you don't even know if you're going to get a call from ABS or not, if it saw the pitch or not. You know, you're waiting 3 seconds and you might not even get the thing to say something. And oh, now you're panicking because this thing did not tell you ball or strike. And you have to revert to the old human way of calling balls and strikes and say, oh, was that a strike or a ball? It happens so quickly, sometimes you don't see it right because you're getting so thrown by this computer, which may or may not work. I heard an anecdote from an umpire that pitch was thrown, batter hits the ball on the ground. As soon as the shortstop fields the ball, picks it up, gets ready to throw, the umpire in the earpiece hears, strike. That will not cut it. So I disagree with the Baseball America summation that the skills of the umpires are going to atrophy and they're going to lose the ability to call balls and strikes. But what I am worried about is that this is going to create a situation where umpires get burned out because the stress level to work an ABS game can be pretty high. And in my opinion, it's going to be a little bit higher, potentially a lot higher, than working a game the normal, human, traditional way that you've been doing since Little League, high school, rec ball, college, whatever your level is. And then you suddenly go into the Class A Advanced, and you might have been promoted from rookie ball or Class A or what have you, and now you're in the FSL and you have to deal with this system that may or may not work. Or as Joe West again said, it missed 500 pitches in April. What's to say it didn't just miss the pitch that you're trying to call? That's my thought. What is your thought? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe to this channel. Umpire Ejections is the Twitter and Facebook handle. We'll see you on the site.